Ewa awari akwanti omu no. Ewo se yesua nneema bebree wom. Na yɛbɛyɛ dɛn na yɛni agye ɛwɔ yɛawareɛ mu. Ɛwɔ aspect bebree ɛwɔ se yɛsua fa nneɛma a yɛdi tu anomaa wei no. Nti ɛndɛ yɛba abɛka romance ɛne sex. Nti ɛndɛ ɛwɔ marriage series so no. Mewɔ me nua bɛɛma OPD ebiem nyame ayɛ madom nsa aka no. Nti ɔwɔ ha. Mesan wɔ me sister Dorcas abɛka me ho ɛma yɛ adwendwen ho. Sɛ woma oyere ana wo kunu ani agye ɛwɔ awareɛ mu no ɛkyerɛ sɛn. Wo yɛ ne sɛn. Ɛkwan bɛn so na wobɛfa so a n'ani bɛgye na motumi abɔbra. Nti me nua no akɔ aba.
Ye je so me nua ba.
Ɛnɛ so biom nyame nhyira mo sɛ depende a yɛasan hyehyɛ mu a me frɛ mu no motumi aba bɛka me nsa. Na ɛndɛ no yɛbɛ discuss topic bi a ɛyɛ very very interesting. It's about romance and sex in marriage. What is romance when it comes to marriage?
You can't romance. Romance is a broad thing for me, as much as I know very small. Ubi beka say romance say wuni ukunu shede na osuso mu na oye wonioma leading to the intercourse and I say love making. And also a whole but maybe I think say romance starts in the house. The way because naturally men are moved by what they see. And for you to be able to be with your husband and be with him very well, it's always starts with how you look. You can even start romancing your husband. Abrakra unso nisem, and now unso nimu. There are so many ways I made Dorcas there. I can define it as romancing your man. And you know, as I yasha say they met me I can say romance ne there. There who send your baby who will fear who see leading to the bedroom. And then your baby when I made them come home and my friend in a romance.
Okay. Brother OPD, who is a romantic man?
Maybe say what's a dana or two question yama. I think say sieka say a romantic man and I be more a romantic. Say me nia ba ne kasa no kan bi say me fam no enye eniema eye kolidi to man be man kita hu de nemom no say kutim kasa be man yi a romantic. Say example on ne yire enam abonten no de ne sa to ne kom na waso ne nsa se bi wabie ka epono do ama ne yire na ne yire atem se bema odi ne yire ho adansepa ewo bedwam hia na se examples ne de dos bebre nti sa aniema we ne ka se romantic manner me fem no me hu ni se
Actually, na just say you are talking about say nimpa no wodi ne ni esi uso say ade obema we ni age kwa no be yama. Good. Sister Dorcas, eniama ben say na wukunu ya wunti hu jai.
Ni na fa pem na e romance. Eno ne ye ka ho asem. Me de bia masema me can say is the little things na nipa ne ye no. Because if you go out of your way to do any extraordinary thing, na ade na kwakwa very formal. Ade nso aye formal na ye Frenchim. But romance comes with flexibility. You should be very flexible. Say, minimi kunu wo honom. There is this thing that I always say. Mikunu smell. The way he smell. Sometimes me kitchen na so fa mechia. And I say oh fa bibia. Immediately I smell him. I feel like I want to hold him. You see, some of these things are some of the little things. It's not anything special. I don't
So can you give us examples of these little things?
I just gave you one as the smell.
Okay.
Sometimes you could see me where you memoir. And I know partner. Most of the times we go with our little girl. And you could see, say, he puts the baby at the back of the car and then he comes to open the door for me. Sometimes he will just ask me, Dorcas, is your phone charged? And then he charges my phone for me. Sometimes I come to check on my phone and then he's checking up on me, say medidia. And I make no. It's not supposed to be anything big. The fact that I know that my man is somewhere working very hard and the thought of me came into his head thinking, say medidia, no. It's a whole lot of romantic book.
Okay. Brother OPD, when you talk about romance in a marriage, the other aspect is also about sex in a marriage. Nkitahudi amowo ewo aware no. Na me busa say sex alone no, can it maintain your long-term marriage commitment or whatever? Is that the main thing that we should focus on in the marriage as being part of the romance?
That's what some question. Say because enka ho anase eno nye main na bia me di intro because I think say sex as a whole package. You can sex near can marriage. I think it goes hand in hand. Name no for it semeka say eno ne bema aware ejina anase aye tenten de. Eno de mean to me can say because sabio safrache say yewo nipa ni bi kra ho no ma sex na yen fie ko animu ana say duties and responsibilities no ayede beka ho na esokra ayede enti ho no say sex na ehodi aware na so tia say that means what you say na me de me famu de ene sabio nhwehwemu kakra ma ye say aware longevity no, it is mostly based on the emotional intelligence of individual. The couple no, mommy no na mo obia EQ no. E kwan be na samubufu a musi solve na. E kwan be na mo pick up the other. Se bia ba ko tim say oh ene de mi kuna na mi ni energy wo low. Kwan be na usi ye de e feel in. I'm say minia beka so cancer bi na manager say or hokra na say otimi ni kunu timi nya adaje check it up on her say we did it no kra no on say on ne ndai on nya but no kra na ma enti no mintimi fa me nan ensisu duanka say sex na be ma ware ache nemum e ka ho bi
Stodakas, tell me. Well, because in Hollywood or whatever, the lifestyle that we are living in this society, you know, with the way we value, we place so much emphasis on sex that is that so?
Sex is very important. Very, very, very important in marriage. Because sometimes I realize say even cry say wuni ukunu wo na say bia the communication is not right, maybe or say or no ye be as normal sex and you object he gets angry. So in that case, if there's an anger because of something, then it is very important. But mensume for me brass say the marriage is a very long thing with a whole lot of package. Sex is one aspect of it. But yen de bia me come as someone because ye ya California, ye Africa for na ya na me per se ye kasa ninti no, it will most of discussions no might go to the people that understands us. So sometimes no ya na I want it me kasa na me per se I want to relate it to your side. Fine, it's a general thing that we are doing all right, but me per se ko your side. Say by in Africa more, most of our men no, they consider sex as the most important tool in the marriage. And as a married woman, if that is what your husband sees as the center of the marriage, then you should protect your marriage. So you should protect the one thing that you think is holding the marriage. Because it's a package. But we say, when it comes to the whole DNA, it holds the two of you together. And what to me no out of communication and studying each other, what to me who say, this is your fapim, this is your foundation. And I said, dear way ne hold ya any dear. Then you as a so muye. So say who say what the any sex then as I said me who send
you do everything to
maintain it
or keep it.
Of course, because with the sex, no, it's two of you coming together. This thing is a spiritual thing. This thing is love. This is, when two people are having intercourse, it comes along with a whole lot of things. Sometimes I always tell my husband that the time I can see that you are vulnerable is when we are making love, because you go low for me. I can be able to do anything without you not getting angry. I can be able to touch any part. I can be able to say any nasty thing that on a normal day, if I should say, you understand? Yeah. So fine. Sex is very important in marriage. Very, very important.
Yeah, it brings me to this question, because if you are saying that if you find something that holds your marriage, that means that other aspects of the marriage, talk of financial stability, raising of the kids, and when it comes to the house, it's also a problem, because you work. We all know say so all this aspect, sometimes we ignore that aspect. How do you deal with it then?
No, in marriage you can never ignore anything. As much as we try to say we are ignoring, you can never ignore, because you leave it comes back. Financial problems is always around us. Children are always around us. Our family members are always around us. But the thing is, the marriage is between you and your husband. Before the kids, before money, before family people. And if that one particular thing, if it's sex, if it's romance, at the end of the night, you come or a riano, me kosha one corner be bomb be, and then me come summer to talk about more. Sex at the end of the day relaxes you when you have a good sex.
So, Brother OPD, which aspect of the other aspect apart from sex, we're talking about, she has already explained certain aspects. I want us to talk about the home. When a man or a woman, especially, let me use the African man, helping at home. Because if you see a chores and you help your wife, that is also kind of romance to me. That is how I also see it.
You're right, yes.
But it
Act
becomes a problem for the African man, especially. How do you deal with it then?
Yes. Thank you for this question. I want to say the Bianca say, before me, can be before to generalize in terms of this context, right? And you may be say, Bema ye alpha male. Alpha male nature say leader or can be the obekana in your home. What I say? And to see the sa and yama way attach here, she trim. And once say, feel cry, near. That's what nearby. Ma obana say, Uncle Kitchen, on enquire Jan, on senior, on entry Jan, maybe a old bearmano. Mostly you do almost nothing.
Yeah.
And to be this thing is embedded in your head. And to say, Oko I will be baba to fan say, the ba unia banana so de now mammy ufina. And to say, Ufri abontimba. Na say kukuno ebi umu okra na sometimes I hear stories of say ye nyina na aba but ba ko no hwe ba ko anim say on ne ba ko ye aduane na say ba ko no hwe ba ko no on ba ko ohun kuku ba ko ntino e stigma bi a before me man ye de a hye ye mu fiti e mofra sem so hono say maami e wo fie ye maami wo fie e twa no ho ye ye aduane ye sei ye hunu ye de ani ehu bi what is it na bia papa hwe TV and say me so me nyina saa na me pesa me so me to hwe TV na me yere twa no so enti akoya de a the society mu kra si ye hu say I want say society now has become a grow to extent say ye ade good is seen as abnormal say bia me shia me yonko no odidwa. My first question, I say, instead of say, Bianca, say, why are dear so boy? Make say, me first instance na oyere
Now
we
you're away. Yeah.
on the way adini city say bia obema bi bua na yere no ni amane din we de bema tan chese bema oye oba tan so oba ye oba tan ti bema tan na nti ama eni mpempi no kura ne emema ni bebre wo hono ma omu nyankombe yo bade social stigma attached to it no kura ntino because okoyesi ya na fofo hu na yon besre no imagine so no oyere nam street na una sebio kenda ba bugi una upie na na oyere da ohunu eniema bebre na na die me ne de bia me kan say traditions no ne ade na ye de ewura mu ene na ama saa niema we nyina ayede akosi enti no so obusa me a the entire emema bebre na house church ne has gone to do with the mentality alpha male ade a wo hu no on environment wa hu se ni papa ye wa hu se ni bra panyi bi ye wa hu se ni neighbor be ma bi ye enti ono ade no me but what you see
Yeah.
Yes.
Sister Dorcas, some of the men omoboa ewe fiade yom. And sometimes we the ladies take the advantage say my nyakwa or no be automatically. And sometimes it's also discourage the men. Is it is it by force say e was nipa no be man oboa wo fiade yo.
And our mono, there is something that I call communication in marriage. And when there is communication, a very good communication, there is good understanding. And when there is understanding between two of you, obi ya there, yen kase or shell, because you know say, mumi no you are into the thing together. And whatever mumi no mo you do it together, because see the ba baby aye we ya na ye adwuma and I am fan say ye won kola miensa enti se me 8 hours now see 8 hours I say ekoba ne say ye nyina ye cover the same time then the responsibility lies on both of us, because adie ba kwaya na ye fini say we can only have happiness at somewhere na the basics is romance and sex. We can enjoy our marriage when some of these things are being done. Say yetimi eye aduane ni bom didi wie na nkola ne koda, that is time when we have time for ourselves. So wa moami ama men wie ne ntemu a we can't do anything. And na oma men kwans me ya me wie na me so mabre. Inti ye friend no, we are helping each other. Inti ade na nkoba ne say me shell pasentiasie wo ye ntemu a ubehu sa ade no we are into it together. Inti say wo ya and how? Because we know the outcome. Ade bi a we ni ye bia no. And for so na wunya no, it's good. Inti ade na wunim sa ade ne say na obenya no. Now you want to do it the other way.
Do you want to add something to it?
Yeah. The mama fa bibi kakran to de minia ba dokaseka. So say on say aware na emu mienu na anamonto ye nipa mienu na etu anamon. Die I was saying when say me call baby na panyi bi wasua de akwachi no ka say sa phrase na ka say behind any successful man is a woman or say a jai. I was say beside that is a pet.
Yeah.
What you say ye ni bi o di behind that is what na kwhye o di na kwhye to e wo hye but there be a nti aware no unso ka o say ye pese enya time for ourselves. E kwan be ne be fa so a ye benya time for ourselves no. See nyina ya ba na aduane ni fi. Ni emi unu ya ye. E be go faster. Two is always better than one. E be go faster. E wie ye say bi kura na aduane no na unim ya. E bia mi oba na ye aduane no bia nkukuo no me na me hohoro ana nkura na dware ye kura no ma ye dey ma ye enti ebe no bibia go fast ye wie na o twen ma sabio oba nko akoye na so wie na sa na adwunu duru na se o ben no ka so abra eno so akoye problem mi wa no fra adwuma bae no na o to wono on se empe ube obi be ka se ema adwuma ne ema adwuma e den na ema but adwuma ye mi hu obi aka se adwuma ye o die den si die hu ni se efo no de ono no ye na ye ne den
Yeah.
de hu ni se eye ofo no enye wo na wo ye obi na eye nti ono eye ne den nti wu ntimi mfa wo ho oden a wo de ye wadwuma eme kan kire obi se ne de efo nti de bia am ka se de mi efa se so wo na wo ye na ye ofo fine ba ono no ye no ene de nti ni ko se wo ka se oh e wo so ba ne ba ona be fi se me makoye adwuma den aba no no ne de ne bia efo ana bia awes na okoye ne kura ne se bi esuana da bi se wo mi no mo boa na se mo ye a e kontem e ma mo so mo nya adaje de e ma mo
nti me bisa say sa romance and sex in marriage, if example a couple and to me and you satisfied in their marriage sex life no, and they seek other fulfillment outside of marriage, is it allowed as the couple to go outside their marriage journey in search of fulfillment?
say in this context in search of fulfillment, not just a sexual fulfillment.
Yeah.
Say I didn't say my mentrasi na menkana asem we no say ade a ope na so o hwehwe na so won sanka ya na sometimes a mount some disappointment and internet say oni odofo a monkoma de one na egbo nkomo wa abonten chances say obehunu eniema fa odofo no wo na oyere in this con me ye be maintain a chen wa ye kunu kura na ye higher no because for example communication, one of the key factors when it comes to marriage. Okra ono yere monkomo ebi oba no so say ma ye more vocal so ebi oba ekra de esi wadwuma obe so oye dey oka kire but mo me de ye na kokantum ma me na me mpe bibi ni no nso ochina me kwa ahomache ni oh now dey afi ni kasabo nyina ye da hye enti basa na ni kura anye de enje wo aware ni me ka say so okwa adwuma colleague bi o honom no obetimi ni na aka 1 week asem repetitive sa de bia oye good listener utin afọ no a coherent no na oyere na was start a develop some underlying feeling bima nipa kro because why more connected to that person more than wo na nti be here empempi here ebe mu ka say the spark in our marriage na answer odono abafom most of times no that means what you are not giving the person is receiving it as outside and to your comparison now who say bro anami kunu ontimi ensa entino so busam say day na amountful and I say is it allowed? I wouldn't say it's allowed say or say but of course communication ma okunu nti ase say asumesi odo you say na unya time kra anya de emma me enye da bia na say yakwa adwuma ba na atua bills na enkora da na life na nya there's more to it misro meso die meso mihia na say de makoma so epe eni ye mame because I say answer na o the friend kura beka so beto bobabo na ne the more de enkomo bi say ben o ase be ma also timi say maybe there's because so anya on say here mema no see e pade na you go all out obi be tie oyera sema ahwe a wo be ma no hu kura no boafu yes.
Okay, Sister Dorcas, tell me, if your husband doesn't satisfy you well in the marriage, will you seek other fulfillment outside your marriage?
Yeah, your husband satisfying you and then you know, me Dorcas that I sit here, when I can't say my husband can satisfy me because it's not only, excuse my word, putting his dick inside me and pen your mommy satisfaction.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of package. When you get married, you should explore your husband. The husband too should explore the woman. Enti yemfa ne se edu baby krapo na sebi be ma no cry yemfa ne se wenya yare bia ne be ma ntimi nya adwuma. There are so many things obetimi ayama why you can get satisfaction. But ye no nya ye ware wi aho ade ba kwa wa ware mu nso a emmoa ede ha oba eye ferie. Ferrier ye adie bi a wodi show mu wa aware mu a ese wo niema bebre. Me to me frɛ me kunu ba ko say because I would say anything as bad as it is, as hunhudio, I would make sure I say it. Until when we are tackling it, we tackle it from that angle. Until so if satisfaction is not coming from here, I know it will come from there. I'm trying no angles.
Yeah.
Because then I make an aware no ukomua something for better for words. And nina jina wo nipa no understanding so. When we say for better for words, people always go say ena be man sika sana be man yare na. Even in sexual life, no, the better for worse is there. Because at a point, your husband can get diabetes or something and his dick will not work again. But it's not only that penetration that makes satisfaction. Excuse my word, there is licking, there is sucking, there is touching. There's a whole lot of package in this thing. See, for me to say I'm not having satisfaction, I'm going out, it's another thing for
because
me.
Because it's very...
Yes.
It's an issue, you know.
It is.
With this sex in marriage.
It is.
It's
really, and American is because we always... You resulted to one thing. Wohu. Awari no... Se wo wari ukunua, especially... Bema wa se wo dono nkwa. Se wo dono nkwa dia. These things are some of the things that will come. At a point in America, be crapa na enye say, "Ma bre eniema na dan wechi na menya ntem na menna." You can also tell him menna ni mechi because mempe mechi no. You see, men ferry ukunu. Yeah. You should be able to be vulnerable. Vulnerability being bojo wo ho me hu say na me kan wanu mu nsem nyina. Fight for the marriage. Fighting for the marriage comes with a whole lot of things. And yes, I want to Masa, say you will not lose each other. Talk to him. Ask him, is it because of the way I dress? Is it because of the way my mouth smells? Is it because of the way men are moved by what they see? And it's something that you think is turning him on, is driving him away. Ask him. Talk to him. Have a good conversation. Don't stay home. Go outside. You don't need to go and sit at a restaurant. Sit somewhere that you can be able to talk vocally. Open your mouth. And I think some of these things will help your husband from going out, and I help you from also going to talk to somebody out there. Because there is somebody there for you to talk to. That's your husband.
OPD, can you tell me if say I worry you first na ye mienu pe nkwala bia mbe mu ye na mibusa se nkwala ba aware mu a ekele romance and sex life no in a marriage ana
yeah me da say me neba de e wo say ye hunu aware ne say on say da bia ye use children and cra factor no to give reasons be na sometimes a babe hanti enwa kan hu se enkra no odo ma bawia so ombenyini omobekọ enu ntina se wahu na enkra duro mo mpani mfie so no mo ye more independent divorce etaye high because oba no ehu se onyam fasodie bia obsebio adrum yenyinyini sex na and shedan to say ye mranti brain no enti o check in 1 or 2 or 3 bia won say aware ko o tiase no edie na onya emfaso de be na ewom enti bonza fe o start pese o frame anaso no enti say o won kra and no shouldn't deprive you of romancing your wife because at the end of the day won no ye wono ye ansa na nkura na ba menka se menhwe nkura no but wono ye what is it and say ade e wo so ye ma oyire ni je no won say na minia ba make submission bi earlier say any je na ba ho it changes everything and I can say romance doesn't start in the bedroom, it starts with fear so can obi romance class start free o free adwuma or ban or friend mooding no enti what turns out Emma and cry any excuse Emma or house chores. Monte asiese a mumian is you against all odds. Once a more sad way, because you cannot tell me say, oh, our sex life dribbled down because of kids. Oh no. I read somewhere, no mammy, because I say, on any kunu da on pamba. I say, or more master bedroom, no have it their whole life sex life. It was good. Theo, it was good. But one time be more travel together. And I'm quite so outside. Now that sex was best. One said change of environment, kit to webino. Oh no. And you know, of course, have marriage, you know, and because packages baby. I worry for the me catch a for I was in your community. Also to me say weekends we made them make koja oma opa made them come on nano and I say madam. We can yes. Any concert ne boy din deals be brave, especially chrome high way, you know, you deals be. You were mammy for the papa for now, or more money drew, pempen so more to me, or met me more muniam. And what do you do? No, oh, and then weekends say, Papa and Mamma, ye call Friday, Baba Sunday. Emma and cry, oh, ma, what day? Social, so bad time or care, also be careful. Or man, before you know, you are placing your marriage second, the encrino first. And in granting a free honor, now it's something that you have been also we are accustomed to it. So be sure grab a moment why you home where you say, and it's adding adrenaline no dopamine and maybe you are. I am Beman crown, and there are some people who are 2-3 months on any cranky, but then they are living because they have been occupied. But suddenly, Omoya occupied, say new viewer. That is when the problem comes. I feel say,
Mr. Doctor, before we can be person, me can be beat you, me brass, and person, me mom, me my tip about him. Oba, bia only bema wo as nikuno. If you want to know the heart of your wife, you should always start with your kids. Oba bia who send ya nikunu treating a mano, ebwa nkola no. I don't think you ever have a problem with Wawari because me who be mfato. Anytime I see my husband taking care of the kids, it gives me some extraordinary love for him. What am I say? Say me free adwuma ba say na say bia me ba be je bibia man kono say o. Your friend doctors into friend Didi twen just relax. Na we dware nkola no we siesie wo mo aduane di. Say even sometimes me who say yeah I go to help him. Sada na me who say me kunu yes ade no. Oh,
but man bonus.
But na me man they don't na make no communication and also even studying a woman that you say you because obabi wo ho no mo obetimi natena so many years. Fair year and I said binti o me na no nkasa you don't study your wife. So when you so ban Emma ye Obema yemfa ne say mintimi nka se oba ne mbema pepe because mema kuma esro wo mo na esro ba but oba no se na meme de me yusu meme ho ayemfa ti nyankopon anhwe ne me no enie ma bi wo ho no mo a wo ya wo hu ema me ye boko afi de mintimi nya hwebiom enti se aware no se woni oba ne ti wo no na se hu se sei no oba na de bi sei na wo ye na oba ne pa then why don't you do it? Oh, Obano so say, Nema be saying now, we are my bear man on no super. Why don't you do it? Because you are they be a massive man can say you are into it together for better, for worse. But they be an a chance at worse in the bear man be accident, none about you be a wire to baby. Now I call Fabi be a better hono, and then a worse. No, even in the house, it starts from the house with the kids. Your rain Sufi, remember your rain soon fee say. How we relate around the kids is what the kids are picking up. Enkolano, enkola. They will also grow up to become impeniful. And ushe enkolani a woman. Ubon se because akola we ni ye na to send papa. Akola we ni ye na to send mommy. It's because they are learning. What you must, and they also grow and go and get married. Yet it's enkolana mama enkola papa. With the basis of sex and romance. And you know, se wone oba ne wo ho no mo a, this is the tip I'm giving to the men. Try to love the love you have for your wife. Let it reflect in your kids. And you see another different dimension of love your wife will give you.
Thank you so much for this submission. It's really lovely. I would like to ask you, Opedi, is it true that men think more of sex in marriage?
Oh, I'll not let you end. On that. You see, there's this hormone that a man produce you or body, this estrogen, this, dopamine. On say, we a man 10 si one man. We member 10, so I can say, any reason, but I can say 9 of them are thinking of sex. And opa here. So who's a bema, Tina say, Memma Cray, who say, hey, who do buffon the other way, no, nana. Oh, say, because, the satisfaction, a man enjoy, but the satisfaction, so relaxation, memma after ejaculation. Scientifically, no, say, idea. Prostate cancer etimi cure adea bema why tense the cause be atonto what the man etimi manida ice sleeping tablet no adea bema na kuma ye den say na kuma ye den o the man we have obon say sabi na ka afobos why mem I say na me kunu I sika kro ka so from afedi o say o de ye ko no ntine mema de men and sex go hand in hand.
So tell me, Sister Dorcas, is it true that women love romance instead of sex?
Oh, yeah, in a way. Yes, romance is good. One say a man, say na nyankopon boy, ye pa krokro, ye pa attention. Naturally, men are moved by what they see, and women are moved by what they hear. Romance no so say na nyankopon si fa ball no so no yade bi a won say oba when you're dealing with oba you need to take your time. Romance is something that you need to take your time. If oba ewo ho and she would get her man taking his time working on her, why not? Oba bi a romance because of the senior ade ne tie no sa na oba bi atie. You take your time because you saw baby no fumu enya de a wo kwotwe. You take your time to massage the things very well. So obabi ape. Obabi with this one I will not say 99%. Obabi na nibuafu said dien na make an romance no most at times we shouldn't just result it to just the bedroom. Ebi a wono oba oyirepo monya kasakasa. Out of the blue she's going. And then you stretch your hand and maybe touch her shoulder in a very soft way. In her mind, she was thinking, bono. But you just touch her shoulder and turn her in front of you. Wakuno, you are romancing her. Wakuno, you don't even need to touch, kiss, or say anything. When who say, Bibia tonosu, because at that moment she was thinking, said, wow, but you just hold her and just look at her very softly. So romance is very important to women, and we like it also.
So with this romance and sex in marriage, some of us didn't have the opportunity of learning, and some even don't know how to go by it. What advice would you have for them?
One advice I'll give everybody is that sex and romance does not have formula. Adie we planning a friendship when it comes to sex and romance. We planning a friendship power mistakes too much, because adie na bia na so say na wakochiana. So when it comes to romance and sex, me mom there sometimes I don't advise studying somebody, because obia ne expertise obia ne na nyankopon God has created us in our own unique way. Obi betimi aso obi afno ha and there will be an effect. Ekwa koso the same afno obenya pimple. So it has no formula. What my advice is, when you get your man that you love, the thing comes naturally. Even if the person is a virgin, the person has never held a dick before, held a breast before, immediately the two of them get to the room and then there is atadie yen in your man. It comes naturally. So you should just allow the flow to go. Even sometimes go be very crapper, it turns a man on. Send your band ferry no eternity bema be on Yankopon. The man we call God has a way of creating everything. So this thing, any say wo ferry, ketwa bia wo be ye bia, bema na no hono do one ni beso.
How does one who is a virgin, have not tasted anything, doesn't know anything about romance and sex and marriage, what advice will you give it to that person?
Yeah. So yeah, with this question on the me, I can say when we talk about romance and sex now, my sister rightfully says, and yeah, dear, a book be night. Of course, you can read books. I understand, but what if you say unima can anima church? And yeah, dear, you specific formula. So, and preheating the oven, you so many ways are the what you say, and I'm a kind. Say, nipa su a yewo no, nipa duana a spirit na we musa su no, yewo enema bi wo hono ma oye as an individual na even a soften the heart, right? And to say, oh yeah, virgin, and I say, oh yeah, you are clueless about these things now. So now, as time goes on, you are going to pick up one or two things by more actions now. More yeah, now but say, hey, and no idea, maybe I do me who say me kunu. I say, and I say I do me so bano. Why say me sister ama me time say why bojo. What you say? And these are things you learn, you pick it up on your way. And of course also the biamika say counseling. I say counseling helps. Na counseling yeah Christopher yeah counseling yeah channel enough how to be say in terms of conflict resolution but counselors so they kind of sex education so quite so sini yere ekradin shim emema bebre otie ma bi nkomo ne dey to say ma ni bebre kura enemy be ma bi wo hono ma just say on the obaya what you say oh no just so any time oh no I say I for ban say or object be a start class so the why you ready na the bia but a man no say me nia back say e ma pakoko e man hia time e me ma de oh yeah for say what is and one way a be maybe wo no ma or the sap perception e won team so no almost 99.9% no journey side no hu ni say sa no oba so tie entino I was say ultimi crawl ire to one or two things be a dance die wo hono anka manfo be dia dance say emre bi one ne be hie ma it started from the day no nyese of that moment no but it started from the day no anopa day na de ho ayefo it is say boabo no omo hie mu a different than just performing sex as marriage say it's a duty say be a mother honum na more.
So should it happen at any moment in time? Like sex should happen, it doesn't matter where, when.
O kase o de formulas bebre to ho a we about kuti. What I say? I don't know. I said the legality of it no. I worry what I say. Me kai say me worry maybe too for say oba so open wo kitchen a fama no oba washing machine so fama of course planning idea is also good but money flow so it's also nice. Yes, and mean ka say planning a year and I say it's good and I mean ka say spontaneous. Some people even do love spontaneous sex. Say and yet that was the plan but it happened. Yes.
So that
about virgin issue most of the times not people that stays virgin and gets married, we know most of them are Christians, like as all we being Christian, because that is what the Bible tells us. And at a point talking about sex because they know you have to abstain before you get into that, and talking about it becomes a problem. Now we are saying at the end fine, most of school are going na kasa and then we come back to practice. It means talking helps. Say what keep you as a virgin edrum pempen so why would you say oh be worried there? Then you should talk about sex. Because it is one important tool in the marriage that is going to help you. Even if not for enjoyment, cry, and then ebe ma wawo. Senya wo crap on so, and then maybe I would yama when in jebema ukune. So, as Christian as you are, we shouldn't forget that our Father in heaven created sex. And in his own good mind, and I say, Yamin, on one in Yan San in the Bibiano, or boa dear be a woy in Ipedria who be a ding. Inti sa we a Christo ni na boa and your bonnet. Would who sanema when na you'll be loving your husband and you'll be loving God as well. But immediately you realize that some of these things are sin. What can't sebi vagina wakambone? You need to go and hide one where and pray in tongues to bind and loose. Massa, the time you come, you face reality. And God will not descend from heaven and come and tell you, ye say and I say, ye say. Because there is one thing that I realize that men like say, Oba, the nam for bema and nam for praise Oba. Chami who you, she looks so beautiful. Me who you, adio sheno. We pa me who she smell good. Some of these things, bema ne tiko ni trimu krapa before beban he's already turned on, waiting for you for a very wonderful evening. And you know, we shouldn't just make it say it's only the bedroom. It can be outside when you're shopping too. It will be communicated to your husband at home. So we should look at all these aspects.
Thank you so much for coming to grace my program. It has been wonderful discussion. And thank you, viewers, for listening to us. We hope to come your way again another time with another topic. This has been Marriage Series, and we hope you will join us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Until the next time, it's bye for now.